Mason Vale died beneath the tracks of his own fortress. For 7 years, he had kept Iron Haven alive, a mobile settlement welded together from construction vehicles, armored trucks, and scavenged military hardware. He had designed its walls, repaired its engines, and built the water system that kept 300 survivors breathing long after the world outside had rotted. None of that mattered when the food ran low. The people he had protected decided an injured mechanic was just another mouth to feed, and they threw him outside the gate. Mason remembered Iron Haven disappearing into the snow, hundreds of frozen corpses shambling behind it. He remembered pounding on the rear gate, begging the guards to stop. Then the infected reached him. The last thing Mason saw was Iron Haven's massive bulldozer smashing through a wall of zombies without slowing down. That machine had been the heart of the settlement, powerful, reliable, almost impossible to stop. But Mason had made one terrible mistake. He had built it for everyone except himself. When he opened his eyes again, there were no zombies, no snow, no blood. A ceiling fan slowly turned above an old wooden bed. Morning sunlight passed through thin curtains, casting warm lines across a room he hadn't seen in more than 7 years. Mason stared at the calendar, hanging beside the door. March 14, 2037. His breathing stopped. The apocalypse would begin on June 22, exactly 100 days from now. Mason threw the blanket aside and stumbled toward the mirror. A younger face stared back at him. No scars, no missing fingers, no black veins spreading from the infected bite that had killed him. He was 24 years old again. His parents were already gone, but the house they'd left him still stood. His engineering tools were still in the garage. His bank account hadn't yet been emptied by 7 years of survival. Mason touched the glass. I came back. A pale blue light suddenly appeared before his eyes. Vehicle evolution system activated. Host, Mason. Current registered vehicle, none. Evolution points, 0. Time before catastrophic outbreak, 99 days, 23 hours, 51 minutes. Primary function. The host may register one personally owned vehicle as an evolution vehicle. The registered vehicle can be upgraded through mechanical materials, fuel and energy resources, biological samples, electronic components, evolution points, completed survival missions. Warning: only one primary evolution vehicle may exist. Choose carefully. Mason read the message 3 times. A vehicle upgrade system. He had expected nothing when he died. No second chance, no supernatural ability. Yet the thing floating in front of him was worth more than any weapon he could imagine. During the apocalypse, cities became death traps. Houses were surrounded, shelters were overrun, and even fortified settlements eventually collapsed once food, water, or fuel ran out. The survivors who lasted longest were the ones who kept moving, but ordinary vehicles all shared the same weakness. Cars needed good roads. Trucks stalled in abandoned traffic. Armored vehicles burned through fuel faster than anyone could resupply. Buses could carry a crowd, but a crowd was easy to trap. Mason needed something that could destroy obstacles, cross broken terrain, and survive direct attacks. He already knew the answer. A bulldozer. A new system window appeared. Hidden mission discovered. Mission, foundation of the last fortress. Purchase and register a heavy construction vehicle before the outbreak. Mission quality. The more durable and adaptable the chosen vehicle, the greater the initial reward. Possible categories: excavator, bulldozer, wheel loader, mining truck, road roller, mobile crane. Bonus condition: acquire a vehicle with historical, personal, or mechanical significance. Mason grabbed his phone. In his first life, he'd worked as a junior mechanical engineer for Calder Rockworks, a quarry outside the city that went bankrupt 3 months before the world ended. Most of its equipment had been auctioned off, but one machine never sold. A 20-year-old Titan D12 crawler bulldozer, left to rot in the maintenance yard with a cracked engine block, leaking hydraulic lines, and a track that kept slipping off its rollers. Everyone who saw it called it scrap. Mason remembered it differently. In the third year of the apocalypse, he'd led a scavenging team back to the quarry and found the Titan buried under a collapsed shed. 2 months of repairs brought it back to life, and it became the machine Iron Haven was built around, pushing through zombie swarms, demolishing blocked highways, dragging armored trailers through flooded roads. It was also the machine he'd died watching disappear into the snow without him. This time, it would belong to him from the start. Mason called the former owner of Calder Rockworks. "Mr. Calder, this is Mason Vale." "Mason, it's 6 in the morning. I want to buy the old Titan Bulldozer." Silence on the other end. "That thing hasn't moved in 4 years." "I know." "The engine block is cracked." "I know." "The left track assembly needs to be rebuilt." "I know." "You'd spend more repairing it than it's worth." Mason glanced at the countdown hovering in front of him. 99 days, 23 hours, 39 minutes. "How much?" Mr. Calder sighed. "If you take it away yourself, $30,000. In his first life, Mason had close to $110,000 saved, meant to be the foundation of the repair shop he'd planned to open. After the outbreak, the money became worthless paper. This time, he had no reason to protect it. "I'll give you $22,000, and I'll clear the maintenance yard of whatever scrap is left." 28. 25, and I'll sign the sale today. Another pause. "Fine, but once it leaves my property, it's your problem." Mason smiled. "That's exactly what I want." By noon, Mason stood inside the abandoned quarry. Rusting machinery surrounded him. Weeds pushed through cracks in the concrete, and rainwater pooled entire tracks left by vehicles sold off years ago. At the far end of the yard rested the Titan D12. It was enormous. The steel blade was wider than a small house, its faded yellow body streaked with rust, grease, and dried mud. Its tracks sunk several inches into the ground. Most people would have seen an obsolete construction machine. Mason saw the foundation of a civilization. He climbed onto the track and opened the engine compartment. The damage was exactly as he remembered: cracked engine block, corroded wiring, dead batteries, contaminated hydraulic fluid, worn track rollers. By any reasonable measure, the machine wasn't worth saving. Mason placed his hand against the cold steel. "Register this vehicle." The world went silent. Blue light spread from his palm, tracing through the bulldozer's body. Engine, hydraulic cylinders, transmission, blade, frame, tracks. Primary evolution vehicle registered. Vehicle, Titan D12 crawler bulldozer. Condition, severely damaged. Integrity, 34%. Mobility, 0%. Fuel efficiency, 11%. Defensive rating, 18. Offensive rating, 23. Self-sustainability, 0%. Evolution tier, Tier 0 industrial machine. Evaluation. Exceptional structural foundation. Extremely high evolution potential. Bonus condition completed. This vehicle played a significant role in the host's previous survival timeline. Hidden mission completed. Foundation of the last fortress. Rewards. 100 evolution points. Basic vehicle restoration. Internal storage expansion blueprint. Auxiliary power system blueprint. 1 Tier 1 evolution path. The Titan began to change. Rust cracked and fell away as bent steel slowly straightened. Damaged cables reconnected beneath their sleeves, and the broken engine block glowed red, softened like heated metal, and sealed itself shut. The transformation stopped before the vehicle was fully restored. Basic restoration complete. Integrity, 34% right arrow, 61%. Mobility, 0% right arrow, 38%. The vehicle can now operate at reduced capacity. Additional repairs require physical materials or evolution points. Mason climbed into the cabin. The interior smelled of dust, oil, and old leather. He installed a replacement battery from his truck, connected the terminals, and turned the ignition. The starter groaned, the engine coughed twice, and then the Titan woke up, black smoke bursting from the exhaust stack as the diesel engine roared through the empty quarry and sent birds scattering from the surrounding trees. The bulldozer shuddered, but it moved. Mason tightened his grip on the control levers. In his first life, this sound had meant safety. Now it meant preparation. He guided the Titan toward the quarry's main workshop, its damaged track clattering with every turn, stress grinding through the worn rollers. It crossed the yard under its own power all the same. Another message appeared. Tier 1 evolution paths available. Path 1, Siege Breaker. Focuses on armor, ramming power, weapon mounts, and destruction. Path 2, Land Crawler. Focuses on mobility, terrain adaptation, towing capacity, and long-distance travel. Path 3, Mobile Sanctuary. Focuses on living space, food production, water generation, medical facilities, and self-sustainability. Notice, choosing an initial path does not permanently block the others. However, the selected path will receive faster early development. Mason didn't hesitate. Weapons could be scavenged later. Armor could be welded on. But none of it mattered if the people inside starved, froze, or ran dry first. Mobile Sanctuary. Evolution path selected, primary path. Mobile Sanctuary. First evolution requirement. Transform the Titan D12 into a vehicle capable of supporting one human for 30 days without external assistance. Required systems. Sealed sleeping compartment. Purified water storage. Independent electrical generation. Food preservation. Waste management. Protected air intake. Emergency medical storage. Optional perfection objectives. Renewable fuel production. Hydroponic food cultivation. Atmospheric water collection. Autonomous repair system. Mobile drone reconnaissance. Biological contamination scanner. Completion reward. Evolution to Tier 1, Survival Crawler. Mason looked over the list. In his previous life, survivors had fought over canned food and bottled water. They'd killed each other for fuel. Entire shelters collapsed the moment their generators failed. A powerful vehicle was useful. A vehicle that never had to stop was priceless. Mason opened the workshop doors. Inside were welding machines, steel plates, hydraulic components, electrical cables, storage tanks, and tools left behind when the quarry closed. Most of it was buried in dust. The systems scanned the room anyway. Usable materials detected. 3,800 kilograms of structural steel. 420 meters of electrical wiring. 12 hydraulic cylinders. 4 industrial water tanks. 2 damaged diesel generators. 76 square meters of reinforced glass. Assorted bearings, gears, pipes, filters, and fasteners. Estimated initial construction potential. Sufficient for basic armored cabin. Compact living compartment. 1,000-liter water system. External storage racks. Auxiliary generator. Reinforced track guards. Mason smiled. The system wouldn't simply build everything for him. It still demanded knowledge, labor, materials, and planning. That suited him fine. He'd been an engineer before the apocalypse and a mechanic, builder, scavenger, and battlefield driver after it. Now he had 7 years of hard-earned experience and 100 days to use it. He walked to the largest wall in the workshop and began to draw. At the center sat the Titan D12. Behind it, an armored modular trailer took shape in 3 sections. The first would hold a bed, a medical station, a kitchen, and a control room. The second would carry the water tanks and purification equipment. The third would become a sealed hydroponic garden. Solar panels would unfold from the roof when the vehicle was stationary, with wind turbines ready to extend during storms and a biodiesel processor turning waste oil, animal fat, and certain crops into fuel. Rain collectors would feed the water tanks. Air filters would keep spores and infected blood out of the cabin. Drones would scout the road ahead before the Titan committed to anything dangerous, and robotic arms would handle basic repairs from outside. The blade itself would eventually become a reinforced wedge for clearing zombies, and the rear ripper would double as an anchoring system, strong enough to resist a charging horde or pull a trapped vehicle free of debris. This would not become another Iron Haven. It would not depend on hundreds of survivors who might turn on him the moment supplies ran short. It would be a closed ecosystem, a moving home, a farm, a workshop, a fortress, answerable to no one but him. Mason wrote a name above the design. Last Ark. The system responded immediately. Vehicle name registered, Last Ark. Unique evolution trait awakened, self-sustaining core. Every completed survival system will improve the efficiency of all connected systems. Examples: purified wastewater can support hydroponics. Hydroponic waste can support fuel production. Engine heat can warm living and farming compartments. Solar surplus can charge tools and defensive systems. Organic waste can produce fertilizer and biogas. Long-term evolution potential, unknown. Mason stared at the blueprint covering the wall. In 99 days, the dead would begin walking. Within a week, the power grid would fail. Within 2, the water systems would turn toxic. Within a month, the highways would be choked with abandoned cars, and 6 months after that, the first evolved zombies would appear. He knew where the first outbreaks would start. He knew which shelters would fall, and which warehouses would be left behind still full of supplies. He knew which people would become heroes, and which ones would sell out anyone else for one more day of life. This time, he wouldn't beg them for protection. He would get there first. A red message flashed across the system. Emergency mission generated. A future member of the Last Ark is currently in danger. Target, Dr. Alina Cross. Location, Westbridge Medical Research Center. Time before target's death, 11 hours, 42 minutes. Mission objective: prevent Alina Cross from dying in the laboratory accident. Importance: Dr. Cross possesses knowledge required to create zombie infection suppressants, biological fuel cultures, enhanced hydroponic crops, mutation-resistant livestock, advanced contamination scanners. Reward: Mobile Laboratory Blueprint. Failure consequence: a critical survival path will be permanently lost. Mason's expression changed. Alina Cross had been one of the greatest scientists of the apocalypse, the woman who created the first infection suppressant, a drug that could delay transformation after a bite. But she hadn't appeared until 3 years into the outbreak. He'd had no idea she was supposed to die before it even started. He looked at the Titan. Its top speed was barely 12 kilometers an hour, and it still needed real repairs before it could handle open road. He grabbed his truck keys instead. Before he left, Mason pressed one hand against the bulldozer's steel hull. "Stay here." The engine rumbled softly, almost like it understood. He climbed into his truck and drove for Westbridge, leaving the Last Ark behind in the abandoned quarry, still rusted, still incomplete, still vulnerable. But for the first time in either of his lives, the future belonged to him. Somewhere above the road, invisible to everyone but him, the countdown kept falling. 99 days, 10 hours, 18 minutes before the zombie apocalypse, and the construction of humanity's final moving fortress had begun.